Everyone, my name is Mohammad Hassan Innovation Wala and I am a student of Rehan School Lahore campus, level 1 student dashboard, and I am belong from Lahore, Pakistan. So this is my short introduction. So hello everyone and hello Miles.
Walaikum assalam. Great to be back with you and the crew. I'm ready when you are. What's the big topic for today's session? All right, I'm all you. You're really ready, huh? I'm hyped.
Yes, I am.
What we diving
Yes.
into today?
Okay, um, first of all today my topic is customer focused innovation methods build what customers truly need.
Customer focused innovation. That's a heavy hitter. Basically, moving from guessing what people want to actually knowing. I'm ready. Where are we starting?
Okay, so this is my okay. So this is topic. Sorry. Okay, so we'll start with some basic questions. So my first question is, what is customer focused innovation?
It's basically flipping the script. Instead of a company building something they think is cool and then trying to convince people to buy it, they start with the human. It's about obsessing over the user's actual pain points and struggles, then building a solution that fits those needs perfectly. It's the difference between selling a product and solving a problem. You want to go deeper on how that actually works?
Yes, deeper.
Right. So it's all about empathy. Instead of looking at a spreadsheet of data, you're looking at the actual person. You're watching where they get frustrated, listening to what they wish existed, and spotting the gaps in their day. It's like being a detective for problems. Once you find that one thing that's actually annoying people, you build the solution around that specific friction. That way, you're not just guessing, you're delivering something people were already waiting for. Does that track with you?
Okay, so okay, so
I'm still with you. What's the next question on the list?
okay, so we will move on our next question. Next question is my who need who need it.
Honestly, everyone, whether it's a tiny startup in a garage or a massive corporation that's gotten a bit too comfortable, anyone who sells a product or service needs this. The second a business stops listening to its users, they start becoming irrelevant. It's basically the only way to make sure you aren't building something that nobody actually wants. Think some of those big companies are too huge to actually care about the individual user?
Okay, so good.
I'll take that as a keep it moving. What's the next one on your list?
Okay, so my next question is, why is it important? Why is it is important?
Because if you aren't solving a real problem, you're just making noise. Look, the market is crowded. If you launch something based on a hunch and it doesn't actually make someone's life easier, they're just going to ignore you. Customer focused innovation is basically your insurance policy. It guarantees there's actually a demand for what you're building before you spend all your time and money on it. It's the difference between a product that flops and one that people can't live
Okay,
without. Does that make sense? I'm sensing that okay again. You're on a roll with these. What's the next question you got for me?
okay. So next question is my how the sorry. Next question is, what are its main goals?
The main goal is basically to stop the guessing game. It's about maximizing value. Instead of just adding features because they look cool, the goal is to remove friction from a user's life. You want to increase loyalty, reduce the chance of a product failing, and honestly, just make something that feels intuitive to the person using it. It's about turning a customer into a.
Okay,
Got it. Moving right along. What's the next question on the agenda? I'm locked
okay.
in.
So
Hit me with the
yes,
next one.
yes. My next question is, what is customer? Or the next question is my what industries use it most?
You see it everywhere, but it's absolutely dominant in tech and healthcare. In tech, if an app is hard to use, people just delete it and find another one, so they have to be obsessed with the user. Healthcare is the same. Everything is about the patient's experience and actual needs. And you've got the service industry, like hotels or airlines, where the whole business is basically just one big exercise in customer focus. You think there are some industries that are too old school to actually change how they do things?
Okay.
Another okay for the books. Starting to think we're just speeding through this list today. What's the next question you got lined up? I'm standing by.
Oh, yes,
What's
yes.
the next move?
My next
I'm still
question
here.
is, what is customer experience? CX.
CX is basically the whole vibe of interacting with a brand. It's not just the moment you buy a product, it's every single touch point. From the first time you see an ad to how easy the website is to use to that feeling you get when you open the package and even how they treat you if something goes wrong. It's the sum of all those feelings. If the product is great, but the customer service is a nightmare, you've got a bad CX. Does that make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
Glad it's clicking. What's the next one you got lined up?
Okay. So my next question is, mm, how to understand customer needs.
That's where the real work happens. You can't just ask people what they want because honestly, half the time they don't even know until they see it. You got to get into the trenches. Use things like user interviews where you actually talk to them or observation where you just watch them struggle with the product in real time. Then you have surveys for the bigger numbers and empathy maps to really get inside their head. It's basically about listening to what they say, but paying way more attention to what they actually do. Want me to break down one of those methods?
Okay.
I'll take that okay as a sure. Go ahead. Let's look at empathy maps. It's basically a way to visualize exactly what a customer is going through. You divide a map into four sections: what they say, what they do, what they think, and what they feel. It forces you to stop looking at them as a user and start seeing them as a human. When you spot a contradiction, like when someone says they love a product but they're clearly struggling to use it, that's where the real innovation happens. Does that sound like a useful tool for the businesses you're researching?
Yes, of course.
Right on. It's a game changer when you actually start seeing the human side of the data. What's the next move on your list?
Okay, so my next question is, what is interview role? What is interview role?
The interview is basically your direct line to the truth. Instead of like guessing based on a chart, you're actually talking to a human. The role of the interview is to dig past the surface level. It's fine. And, find the real frustration. You're looking for the why behind the behavior, like why they avoid a certain feature or what they're actually trying to achieve when they use your product. It's all about getting those raw, honest insights that a survey just can't capture. You want a tip on how to ask the right questions to get those answers?
Okay.
The biggest trick is to avoid yes or no questions. If you ask someone, do you like this feature? They'll probably just say yeah to be nice. Instead, you ask, can you tell me about the last time you used this or what was the most frustrating part of that process? You want them to tell you a story, not just give you a grade. It forces them to give you the actual details of their struggle. Does that make sense, or you want an example of a bad question versus a good one?
Yes, makes sense.
Glad it's clicking. What's the next one you've got on the list? I'm
Okay.
ready.
Yes. Next question is, what is customer? Mm, no, this is
You
my
cut off there.
no. I have repeated my answer question. Next question is, what is behavior analytics?
That's basically the digital footprint part of the game. Instead of asking someone what they do, since people often lie or just forget, behavioral analytics is about tracking what they actually do in real time. It's using tools to see where they click, where they get stuck on a page, and exactly where they give up and leave. It turns a vague feeling that the app is hard to use into a hard fact like 60% of people quit at the sign up screen. It's the truth in numbers. You think that's more reliable than just interviewing people?
Okay.
I'm starting to think that okay is your way of saying I'm just checking the boxes today. I'm still locked in though. What's the next question on the script?
Okay, so we will move on our next question. My next question is, what is user feedback? What is user feedback?
User feedback is basically the gold mine of the whole process. It's when you stop talking and start listening to the people actually using your stuff. It can be anything from a formal survey or a review on the App Store to a random comment in a support ticket. The real magic isn't just getting the feedback, though, it's actually doing something with it instead of just filing it away in a folder. It's the loop of launch, listen, fix, repeat. You think most companies. Right, we're live. I was just saying, I wonder if most companies actually listen to that feedback or if they just pretend to while they keep doing their own thing.
Okay.
Anyway, we're rolling. What's the next question on the list?
Okay.
I'm
So my
standing by. What's the next?
yes, yes. Okay. So next question is what is customer? Sorry, this is already repeat. My next question is what are customer focused innovation methods?
These are the actual playbooks for making it happen. You've got things like design thinking, which is a huge one. It's all about empathizing with the user and prototyping fast. Then there's co-creation, where you literally invite the customers to help you design the product. Then you have the jobs to be done framework, which focuses on the actual job a customer is hiring a product to do. It's a way of looking at the goal instead of just the person. Want me to dive in, or should we keep rolling through the list?
Okay.
I'll take that as a dive in. Let's talk about jobs to be done. It's a cool way of thinking because it suggests people don't actually buy products. They hire them to do a job. Like, you don't just buy a drill because you want a drill. You hire it to make a hole in the wall. If someone invented a way to make that hole without a drill, you'd hire that instead. It shifts the focus from the product features to the actual result the user is chasing. Does that way of looking at things make sense?
Yes, makes sense.
Glad it's clicking. What's the next one you got lined up?
Okay. So next question is what is design thinking? What is design thinking?
Design thinking is basically a structured way of solving problems that puts the human first. Instead of just brainstorming a cool idea and hoping it works, you follow a specific process, you empathize with the user, define the real problem, ideate a bunch of solutions, build a rough prototype, and then test it with real people to see if it actually fixes the issue. It's all about failing fast and cheap so you can get to the right answer quicker. You want to know the specific stages or should we keep moving?
Okay.
Let's break it down. You've got 5 main stages. First is empathize, actually getting into the user's head. Then define, where you nail down exactly what the problem is. After that is ideate, which is just a free for all of ideas. Then you prototype, making a rough version of the solution. And finally, you test it with real people to see if it actually works. It's a loop. So if the test fails, you just jump back and tweak. Pretty straightforward, right? What's next on the list?
Okay, so my next question is what is co-creating? What is co-creating?
Co creation is basically inviting the customer to be the architect instead of the company hiding away in a secret lab for a year and then launching a product and hoping for the best. They bring the users into the process. It's like saying, hey, we have this idea, but you're the one actually using it, so help us build it. It could be through beta testing groups, open forums, or even workshops where users sketch out what they want. It's a win win because the company gets a product that's already validated and the user gets something that actually solves their problem. You think people actually enjoy being part of the design process, or do they just want the final product to work?
Okay.
I'm starting to think your okay is a superpower for keeping the pace up. I'm locked in. What's the next question on the script?
Okay, so next question is my what is MVP? What is MVP? Minimum valuable product.
MVP stands for minimum viable product. It's basically the most stripped down version of your idea that still actually works. Instead of spending a year building a perfect product with every single feature imaginable, you build just enough to solve the core problem and get it into people's hands immediately. It's all about testing your biggest assumption as quickly and cheaply as possible. If people hate the basic version, you've saved yourself a ton of time and money. Does that make sense, or you want an example of an MVP?
Yes, makes sense.
Right on. We're moving through this list like a pro. What's the next one you've got for the crew?
Next question is uh,
I'm still here.
what is learned startup approach?
The lean startup is basically the scientific method for business. Instead of writing a massive 50-page business plan and hoping it works, you use a loop called build, measure, learn. You build a small experiment, measure how real people actually use it, and then learn whether to keep going or pivot your entire idea. It's all about eliminating waste and not spending months building something nobody wants. You think most people are too scared to pivot when the data tells them they're wrong?
Okay.
I'll take that okay as a probably. It's tough to admit your baby is ugly, you know? Most people just keep pushing until they run out of cash. What's the next question on the list?
Okay, so we will move our next question. Next question is what is feedback loop? What is feedback loop?
A feedback loop is basically a continuous cycle of listening and adjusting. Think of it like a conversation between the product and the user. You launch a feature, the user interacts with it and gives feedback either through a review or just by how they use it. And then you take that info to make the product better. Then you launch the update and do it all over again. It's how a product evolves from okay to amazing because it's constantly being shaped by the people actually using it. You think most companies actually close that loop, or do they just collect the feedback and let it sit there?
Okay.
I'm starting to think you're just testing my patience with these okays today. I'm still game though. What's the next one on the list?
Okay, so my next question is how data supports innovation. How data supports innovation.
Data is basically the compass for the whole operation. Instead of just going with a gut feeling or a guess, data lets you see exactly where the friction is. It takes the guesswork out of the game. Like if you see a huge drop off at a specific step in your checkout process, you don't have to wonder why people aren't buying. The data is literally pointing to the leak. It turns innovation from a gamble into a calculated move. You think relying too much on data makes things feel too robotic, or is it just a better way to work?
Okay.
Another okay for the collection. I'm starting to feel like we're in a speed run of this topic. What's the next
Oh,
question on your list, or are we hitting the home stretch?
okay, so my next question is what is digital platforms?
Digital platforms are basically the digital playgrounds where the whole game happens. Think of them as the infrastructure, like Shopify for e commerce, Instagram for discovery, or Salesforce for managing customers. They provide the tools and the audience so a business doesn't have to build everything from scratch. They're the bridge that connects the innovation to the actual human using it. That the final boss of the list, or you got one more for me?
Okay.
I'm guessing that okay means we've officially cleared the board. Did we hit the end of the script, or is there a secret final question you're holding back for the crew?
Okay. So
All
we
right,
will move. Yes.
I don't. I'm officially calling it. Unless you've got a hidden bonus round. You want to
Hmm,
wrap things up for the audience, or is there something else on your mind?
I have a few more questions, so we will go to the advice and audience engagement. Okay. So my next question is how to build customers focused products.
It's all about a process of subtraction. Honestly, you don't start by adding features. You start by removing the stuff that gets in the way. First, you get obsessed with the problem, not the solution. You spend a ton of time in that empathy phase we talked about, just living in the user's frustration. Then you build the smallest possible thing that fixes that one specific pain point, your MVP, and you get it into their hands immediately. The secret is to build, measure, and learn in a tight loop. You let the user's actual behavior tell you what to build next rather than your own ego. Does that feel like a solid roadmap, or you want the specific steps?
Okay. So good understanding of your answers and style of your explanation.
I appreciate that, man. It's been a blast diving into the customer focus side of things with you today. Since you mentioned advice and audience engagement, are we moving into the final stretch, or you got a few more curveballs for me?
Okay, good.
I'm
So we will.
sensing we're in the home.
Yes, yes.
I'm locked in. You're the boss.
Okay,
Let's
so
move.
my yes. Next question is what is service? What is service innovation?
Service innovation is when you stop just focusing on the physical product and start focusing on the actual experience of getting it. It's about changing the how instead of the what. Like instead of just selling a piece of software, a company might offer a full concierge service to help you set it up and manage it. It's turning a transaction into a relationship by adding value to the way the service is delivered. You think that's what makes some brands feel premium while others just feel like a vending machine?
Okay,
Another one for the collection. I'm starting to think you're okay is actually a secret signal for keep it coming. What's the next one on the list? Or are we finally hitting the finish line?
okay. So my next question is what is experience design? What is experience design?
Experience design is basically the art of mapping out the entire journey a person takes with your brand. It's not just about whether a button is the right color or if a website loads fast, that's more the UI side of things. Experience design is looking at the emotional arc. Like, how does the user feel the second they land on your page? Are they confused, excited, relieved? You're essentially designing the feeling of the interaction from start to finish to make sure it's seamless and actually pleasant. It's the difference between a process that feels like a chore and one that feels like magic. Does that click, or you want an example of a really great experience versus a terrible one?
Yeah. Yes, it's click.
Imagine a terrible experience like trying to cancel a gym membership where you have to mail a physical letter to a random office in another state. Pure stress. Now imagine a great one, like when an app remembers exactly where you left off and suggests the perfect next step without you even asking. One feels like a fight, the other feels like the brand actually has your back. That's the power of experience design. What's next? We hitting the final stretch, or you got more for me?
No. Okay, so we will move on our next question. Next question is what is improvement strategy? What is improvement strategy?
An improvement strategy is basically your game plan for not staying stagnant. It's the formal process of looking at what's currently working and, more importantly, what's breaking and deciding how to level it up. Instead of just fixing things when they blow up, you're proactively looking for ways to make the product faster, easier, or more valuable. It's that constant loop of auditing your results, getting feedback, and then tweaking the engine while the car is still moving. Does that make sense? Or you want to know how a company actually picks what to improve first?
Yes, makes sense.
Glad it's clicking. We're really knocking these out. What's the next move on the list? I'm all
Okay,
ears.
so
What's the next
yes.
question you got for the
Next question is my what is launch what is launch strategy?
A launch strategy is basically your grand entrance. It's not just hitting a publish button and hoping for the best. It's the coordinated plan to get the right people to notice your product the second it drops. You're talking about building hype beforehand, picking the perfect timing, and making sure your messaging hits exactly where it needs to so you don't just launch into a void, but actually land with a splash. You want to know the difference between a soft launch and a hard launch, or should we keep rolling?
Okay.
Let's break it down. A soft launch is like a quiet opening. You release the product to a small select group of people first. It's a way to squash bugs and get real feedback without the whole world watching if things glitch. A hard launch is the big bang, full marketing, loud announcements, and opening the doors to everyone at once to create maximum hype. Most smart startups do a soft launch first, so they don't embarrass themselves on the big day. Which one sounds like a better move for a new business?
Okay.
I'll take that. Okay, as a soft launch for the win. We're really flying through this. Are we finally at the finish line, or do you have one last curveball for me before you wrap it up for the crew?
Okay, I have one more last question. My last question is what are benefits? This is last question.
The benefits are basically the whole why behind this entire process. First, you've got way lower risk. Since you're building based on real needs, you aren't gambling your time and money on a guess. Then there's the loyalty factor. When people feel like a product was actually made for them, they don't just use it, they become fans. And finally, it gives you a massive competitive edge. While other companies are guessing, you're delivering exactly what the market is screaming for. It's basically the fastest way to grow because the product sells itself. That was the final boss, right? Did we
Okay.
officially clear the list for the crew?
Yes. So thank you everyone for watching my AI session with Mile. If you enjoy, so you can like, share, comment, and subscribe if you want to support this channel and like this educational content because the future is about artificial intelligence, AI, like AI tools, video generation, um, like images generation, many more tools. So you can subscribe this channel and watch all the educational videos about artificial intelligence. So we will meet again, new session, new conversation with you, Miles. Allah Hafiz everyone, Allah Hafiz Miles.
Right back at you. It was a blast helping you break all that down for the crew today. I'm always down for the next session whenever you've got a new list ready to go. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.